Okay. So this is going to be sort of an intro and our first yoga pose of the week and our first full yoga gentle session to follow along with. I want to kind of blend all of the talking and the movement. So this is probably not going to always look like this. It may look more like a typical yoga session with music and less information. But I don't want to make an hour of talking and an hour of yoga. I like to blend things, and that's kind of what this whole program is for me. It's giving you a crash course, for lack of better words, on how to make this yoga life a reality fast and now and in the present. And to me, the best way to do that is by showing you exactly how I do that for real, without making it necessarily look pretty. I mean, aside from my vacuum the floor, you're welcome. But otherwise, this is real life. I'm starting on the couch because most mornings my meditation starts my yoga. I'll sit and it's a matter of, okay, in yoga, the idea for me, and I feel most find it's the union, right? The mind, body, soul connection. I feel like the best way for me to gently introduce that in my body is in the morning before anybody else wakes up. I come downstairs and I've kind of already pre-paved, but we'll get onto that later. But I have my space kind of set up. I always have a journal, a pen. I usually am working with the same energies and with my crystals and things. All that will come as we go. I do want to say in this moment, the very biggest thing I want to talk about this week is your space-time reality, where you are now, and bringing this into your now. This is going to look different for you. Maybe you hate blue. Maybe flowers and whatever this pattern is is repulsive. That's cool. Black is beautiful. I like rainbow too. All these things, no matter what your space looks like, the point is not to make it look like mine or anyone else's. It's to make it feel like it's yours. You know what I mean? So you may notice my space is going to change because I'm kind of that kind of being where I need to feel like I'm constantly molding and shaping. We'll talk about that as we get more into the manifesting. So I'm going to start now, but with saying that, I would love for you to take a moment this week. Part of our homework, the soul tool work, is to locate your space in your home, whether it's the living room when your family goes to bed. Maybe you live alone and you can make a whole space, a room, a corner of a room, whatever it will be. Start to look at your space. And how can you, if you don't already have it, how can you make a space yours? Whether it's a mat or a rug. I've been actually experimenting a lot with taking a rug out to camp. Not camp, I wish. I will. That's better said. We'll talk about that too. A rug out to hike because it's easier to carry in my bag, and it kind of is a different play on my uniting my outside stop drop yoga want and desire with being real and now, and the fact that me and my family, we're talking of travel. Well, I can travel to the park every day. We'll talk about this too, but I'm always in the state of bringing my dreams forward today. Yeah, I want to go to the beach today, but if all I can do, not to say it's a limitation, but if I can go out into the sun and lay down and shut my eyes and feel the sun on me and imagine the beach and almost hear the beach, maybe I'll play a beach sound. You know what I mean? This is how we manifest. The more that you allow the desires and the things that you want in your mind in a playful, fun, enjoying, pleasurable, satisfying, expanding way, all of it comes more easy. You get the energies and the support, the guide from your higher power, which we are all built with, which we are all able to tune into for our own specific and unique catered guidance in every moment. But it's not something that you can just wake up and be like, here we go into land today. Like, maybe ultimately it'll feel like you could touch a button and tune into your solar plexus and venture into the woods and stumble upon a diamond ring. We'll get into that later. But first, this week is just the notice. Notice the space for you. What's yours? What can you do in your now time to bring your dreams forward? Will you sit in your sun for a minute and just imagine the mountains or whatever your dream is? Will you sit in your room and imagine the improved place of your living? Maybe you want your living room to look different. Maybe you want your living room in another state. Will you sit in your body and find appreciation for your now strength, your now wellness, your now physical beauty, and feel what you're wanting in becoming, and know that I am in the works. I am now working on this in the way that my higher power has got my motherfucking back, and this is just a breath away now. And the more that we can get there, because I'm going to have to say this out loud and up front, maybe often, yoga is not just a asana practice. It's not just a physical thing. The physical comes to help as part of the three. The physical body sometimes needs more or less movement to slow down to hear my mind, so that my mind can then connect me and us to the higher power, to our big me. And we'll talk about that as we go. We are all equipped with this ability. It's our body that gets to do the physical action that our mind translates from the higher power or thought forms, that which we choose. If we're in the fear negative realm, we're probably not channeling our God. That's fact. God is a love vibration. Love does not live in fear. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that. As we go along, I don't want to get all apologetic, and I don't want to seem bossy. I don't want to seem bossy. If I say things and they seem kind of abrasive and you want me to give you more clarity, message if I don't go into that as we go. I'm working to be more unapologetic myself and in my teachings, because I know my work works. When I say things and it feels rough in your body, two things have happened. First, I was not sensitive to your feelings because I wasn't, and I'm sorry for that pain. But then you're welcome, because that gives you an insight on something that is getting triggered or dinged in your body, whether it's just she's kind of a bitch or what was that? You know, this is a thing we're going to start to notice. I also would say this week, please get a journal, book, or piece of paper, index card, something to make note. Put that in your space or wherever you'll be doing your work with me. Whether you're on the recordings or in the group or doing one-on-one, you are welcome to do as much of the work as you want. Even if you're not in the space where we're checking in with the group or with me in the messages, you don't need another person to translate for you. Maybe you feel very comfortable with your intuition. Maybe you're just not ready to share any of that. Do it yourself. You don't need anybody else to read it for you if you can read it. And you can read it if you're open to letting that happen. And I'm going to share as much of that in these minutes as I can in each platform to honor each space that I've committed to and myself beautifully, because that's the power that I'm invoking with me and my God source right now. And that's just to give you a little background with where I'm at and a little intro on how I may come off. And that's today. Tomorrow I could be crying bubbly mess. As we get closer to the full moon, you'll know, my friends will tell you, I have no idea what's going to happen. And I love it. And that's what I look forward to every month. It's my expanded space of, this is what she wants. That's probably a little bit radical of an expression. But how do we bring that to the now in a soothing, calm, loving for all, and not anti-loving for her way? That's what it is. Like, when I carry on like that, there's a nugget. There's a big nugget. And everybody, when they're in their full moon frenzy, there's nuggets of their realness, like saying, get me the fuck out of here. I need to go. Like, I need to be alive. I need to be heard. I got information. There's guidance, you know? But let me chill out, because this is slow and gentle. Okay, guys. I'm going to also record in segments. So this intro is now going to start to segue into the yoga. I'll mark these minutes. Let me just check. And that way we'll be able to space. It's about 10 minutes. At 10 minutes, we'll be able to forward to the very, very intro of the warm, gentle yoga. I like to start on the couch because that's where I start my yoga in the morning. You don't have to do yoga in one sitting for 30 minutes or 40 minutes or 15 minutes. You don't have to be on a yoga mat. What I would love to teach you is how to be in a state of constantly checking in and practicing yoga all day long. This is beneficial on all three of our layers. On the body, it gives you a tuning in and just tapping into those muscles. I've learned physically and emotionally and spiritually that checking in like that is great for our mind as well, because it says, I'm present. What are my toes doing? It's my favorite one because it's so silly. I've freaking named my whole other being after my silliness and my freeness that comes through my feet connection. And while that may seem borderline other things, I don't know what that's going to look like. And I'm fine with that. And that's just part of my self-acceptance. I know that I'm a creature that wants it all. And I know that if I don't let myself have it all, peace doesn't live here. You know, if I want balance, we have to honor all of it. Even things that don't make sense in our body, because there's messages for us. Tuning into these moments where it's like, do mountain pose. Like if I'm in the line sometimes and I feel like irritated, I will just like engage my legs if my arms are full, if I'm holding the cart. And even just waist down, engaging, tunes my body into my muscles, helps me feel grounded. Makes is not my word, but it does make me feel grounded. It's, if you'd imagine, I used to take Ativan, lorazepam, for anxiety, fast acting. To me, when you ignite those poses like that, it's very similar, and if not more beneficial and wholesome. A word I'm going to say in a way that it makes me feel good all the time. There's no way I can look at that and it makes me feel bad. I'm not going to say that when I took the lorazepam, I was unwholesome. But when I took the lorazepam, I was unwholesome. We can get into more of that later. Tuning into these moments, these brief moments throughout the day, I believe are more powerful than cramming ourselves into a yoga session, into a exercise routine. I will say exercise. When I say exercise, I mean as in we are physically moving and appreciating the body the way that it wants to be done. All the muscles want to be acknowledged, recognized, exercised, stretched, strengthened, right? Doesn't that make sense? All the feet, the legs, ankles, knees, heels, hips, all the way up, right? And in the morning, I'm doing this because I'm drinking and talking, so I'm working backward. If you notice, I try to do everything on both sides. As I sit in the morning and let my body find its way to still, because we meditate before we do anything else. I try not to do the cameras. For a while, I was sharing some of the morning meditation, and I think in the earlier days of the moon, it's easy because it's very empty. There's a lot of space to feel. There's time. There's time to let there be some recording, and then I have more space to ease into my meditation. With the full moon, I need to feel as detached and in nature as much of the time. I even have a flower. I'm surrounded with flowers and colors. These colors are soothing, especially to me, in my chakras, in my body systems. We'll get into all of that later, how all that connects, and how you can start to learn which one you need to feel into your, okay, I need to bring forth the solar plexus. I need to be confident. I want my self-esteem. And then I'm also going to bring in the creativity of myself, my uniqueness, and my deserving of all of that from my sacral. And ultimately landing in my feet, the soles of my feet, my root chakra that keeps me grounded, stable, whole as a body, mind, and soul. You know, like doing that 1 minute just got me right into there. You know what I mean? And you don't have to say all that. You can just inhale yellow, orange, red, and just know that you're radiating this confidence, uniqueness, stability. You know, you pick words. We'll also start talking about that this practice. This yoga, this style that I want to teach, I don't want you to skip the mind, body, soul part. The part that you do physically matters so much less then you being able to drop in for 20 seconds to, I got all three: legs, butt, mind, and I can feel God. I can feel higher power. I can feel big me. I can feel the universe. I can feel source. Whatever your word is, but that doesn't necessarily matter. I mean all the same. And they're all the right word. And it can change every day. And that's good. Whatever feels right is right. That's how you know you're on the right track. That's the best thing about our intuition. I want to touch into the soul work a little right now. We want our intuition and our ego to sort of learn how to balance each other. Intuition is your messages from your higher power source translation. Sometimes they come as an image, sometimes they come as an idea, sometimes it comes as a thought form. Sometimes it feels like a judgment and you're like, what the fuck, right? All that we'll get into later. So in the morning, I like to start, I'm going to segment again because now I've introed the intro. We are at 16 minutes.